Hi guys, Ken from Miniature Wargaming Warriors, and I apologise for the little delay we had. Got Dom with us, boots on the table, and Liam's joining us 2 weeks in a row. Holy shit!
Bloody hell!
Oh, 3. How was it?
Yeah, it's about 3 weeks.
So there goes the viewing numbers.
And yes. Yeah, Lana. It's a boiling hot Monday night. Not gonna lie, very hot. And I'm not standing up. I might be in my boxer shorts because it's absolutely baking in here.
That's more information than we want to know. Thank you, Kent.
You'll never know.
Oh my
How is
god!
everyone this evening?
Oh, tickety boo over here.
Question here on Dom's channel.
That's the most important thing. Yeah, I have not changed a thing from last week, so it better work. I know.
We did have some technical issues.
We did have a few technical issues.
Impressed.
Buttons may have been touched that shouldn't have been touched. So let's hope. Although I don't want to talk about wearing his boxer shorts. That's really not what we want.
Nothing on Dom's.
You're friggin' kidding me.
Did you save it last time?
Is that a joke or what? Is that?
Leslie, could be serious.
Oh, Leslie's serious. Oh no! For God's sake. Okay, I'm gonna have to do your eyes in again.
Oh no, hang on.
There is a little bit on. Yeah, it's a bit quieter. We're a bit quieter. Dom's quite loud.
Okay, is that what it is? Okay, because I turned you guys down because on the other setting it was so high, so maybe I need to turn that up a bit now. Because when we were trying Skype out, you were really, really loud. Try and talk to me.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh dear. We will get a really smooth.
One day. It'll be smooth, operator. I do now. Ken looks like he's, I don't know, some pixelated hothouse.
I know, yeah. He's actually got worse. His camera quality's got worse.
Yes, all of a sudden it's, yeah. You look like, I don't know what really.
It's when OBS is activated.
No, I know what it is.
Well, Paul says he can hear us fantastically, so fantastic, Paul. Thank you so much. I could put my.
I think you just need more lights, Ken.
I think he needs much light. I could put my devil glasses on there and burn everybody. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why does that do that? Look at that. Yeah. That's really weird. That's really weird.
Well, when I first, I thought you said you were using a green screen when I first came on. I was like, is that the thing you do with a green screen? Crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes. Hey, Leslie's back, and he says he can hear now. He had to reload, so there you go.
Hey. Excellent.
Let's get bizzle with this sizzle.
Right, let's get cracking.
Right, we're off and running. Right. So,
yeah,
what you been working on, then, Ken? This week, what you been up to?
This week, on part 4 of the board build.
Yeah.
Which went quite well. I was happy with it. It took me 2 days to edit, and I had PC troubles, which did not help at all. But that finally went up, and yeah, I'm quite happy with where I am with it. Still got a lot more to. It took probably 3 or 4 days to actually just do all the filming for that. So, hobby-wise, believe it or not, I've not actually got much done this week.
Blimey! I thought you were going to come on and claim that you painted all your figures again, and you haven't, have you?
Well, I've got a Stuart in front of me, which is from Rubicon. Built that, and I've also got a Pioneers half-track.
Oh, so they turned up then, did they? Brilliant.
Yeah, they turned up. I also got a few little surprises come through the post. I ordered some War Original 6th edition rulebook. I'm still waiting for that. I've got the Dwarf Codex, which is because I wanted to have a read of it. So
reading now.
Yeah, I've got a lot.
Gave you the other day.
Yeah, and the books Liam gave me the other day to have a read.
And the old world.
But I did have a very nice parcel turn up, Dom. Very nice indeed.
You're going to annoy me again. You are. I don't know. Why do I do these streams with you? You just annoy me.
I don't know.
Bloody annoy me.
You could have ignored. Basically, both of our Sean sent me some miniatures that he wasn't going to get around to painting. And he's asked me if I wanted to paint them up, and I said, yeah, that sounds good to me. So he sent me a load of Bretonians, so Bretonian archers. I think I've got 20 of these. But he's also sent me Renown from Warhammer Fantasy. So I'm not going to give away too much, but they're going to be videos because these are quite rare models. I'm going to be painting
Shout
all
out
these
to
up.
Sean.
Yeah, shout out to Sean massively. Thank
Is
you
he on
very
the
much,
live?
John.
He doesn't come on the live.
I haven't seen him on the live chat, so he came through one of the videos.
Yeah. I think you were.
My videos, he gets all the flipping stash. It's ridiculous. God, Jesus.
He watches them afterwards, I think. But
It's because he needs something to paint, Dom. That's the problem. He's
that's
a war gamer and needs something to paint.
Everyone felt sorry for me, but basically they turned up like just
pike.
That's a serious pike, that is, isn't it? Blimey.
But this is one of the regiments of renown, so these are quite rare minis, and I'm really.
I vaguely remember them being in loads of really old White Dwarfs. But...
Yeah, I'm very much looking for. Well, they're on the painting desk at the minute. I'm very much looking forward to doing them, and a video will be coming of that. But actually completed mini-wise, Dom, this week, 2 miniatures. I've done actually 3. Tell a lie. Done.
Discuss that. What's going on?
Wilton. Yeah, I know. Sergeant.
Mickey Mouse channel. Really that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, isn't it? Poor turnout.
And I've done Fraser from the Dad's Army in their civilian colours. But that's it. That's all I've done this week.
Mind you, as Leslie's just said in the chat, he said I wouldn't want them anyway. They're GW stuff. It's quite right. Quite right. Too bloody right.
But it's from the 90s. It's nostalgia, Dom. It's the 90s.
Nostalgia, mate.
Nothing wrong with it.
Bugger. Right. Apparently my volume's really loud now, so I'm going to turn that down. Sorry about that, folks. One day we'll get this right. I'm blaming Ken for that one because he shocked me with his.
Oh yeah. I also.
Oh, there you go.
You can see above my head. I've got a light there now. I also picked up a load of lights from someone I knew when I used to work with them from ages ago. Picked up a load of lights for 50 quid. It was 6 lights, studio lights. So I picked up a load of those for the studio green screen and stuff as well. Nice. And yes, I did social distance.
Good.
Pleased you did.
Very pleased that you did. So now you're going to be red hot from behind you and above you. Fantastic. Good job.
But you'll see a beautiful picture of my face.
Well, we can't because you're all pixelated again. So yeah, it's obviously burning out your camera.
Yeah. Makes no sense why I'm pixelated.
What are you up to then, Liam? What have you been up to this week, mate? I bet you've been doing some proper painting, haven't you?
Well, got the old Katushka.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So, it's a bit of a sneak preview on some content I'm making. But yeah, and also I've got these little ones which I don't think I've ever seen them online like actually made, which is Timchenko and the HQ's choices from Rubicon. So I think they're about like £4, but the scale's a little bit off. I think it's probably true scale compared to like a inventory. Oh, can't really see it very well though. Because the light, put the light a bit closer to me tonight. But yes, he's much thinner. So, but I'm going to use him as a sort of major or a captain. So from the distance, commanding people.
Well, if he's an officer, he'll be sitting in the back, won't he? Anyway, because that's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll be with the artillery, shouting, get an extra dice.
How much were they, Liam?
I think they're only £4.
Good,
but they're
plastic as well.
It literally is just 2 arms and the body.
Nice.
That's it, done. So, but they're really thin. I was surprised at the scale because it does say 28mm. So
who were they from? Which company was it?
Rubicon.
Oh, Rubicon. Okay. They do. Are not quite as good inverted commas as others. They're not quite as detailed and they're a little bit smaller than some of the other 28mm.
Yeah, I mean the guy in the car, if that's anything to go by their inventory, he's quite flat.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he's in a car hidden away.
Yeah, I don't know why because they do such great vehicles and yet their infantry their figures generally are slightly weak, I think.
They got really weird plastic, that's what I found as well. Like their plastic's really solid, isn't it? So maybe that's some manufacturing limitation of their plastic. But I mean their plastic's good for vehicles.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Maybe to build up tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are you building, T-34?
Yeah. I'm going to build him because I was going to partially build the tracks and paint that before, because I wanted to get all the details, but I've got a naughty surprise coming, and so I'm joining the elitist club, getting an airbrush.
Yeah.
Oh god, this is going to be 2 for 1, isn't it? 2 on 1 here. You're going to bloody paint airbrush talk all night.
I wasn't going to. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing that scares me. The amount of videos I'm watching, I'm just like, am I going to be able to do this? Like, it's a bit of commitment.
If I can do it, you can do it. Don't panic.
But I was just doing this miniature, and I was just like, there's so many little nooks and crannies on this vehicle. I was just like, maybe I'll accelerate the need for an airbrush. So I just impulse bought it, which didn't go down too well. My command was not involved in that decision.
Oh dear.
Probably was very pissed. High command was probably very pissed off.
Yeah, I live in the shed.
And the problem now with this isolation and everyone being at home is I can't get those parcels delivered when they're all out doing things like at work and stuff. It's really annoying because suddenly you realise there's quite many parcels have arrived every week.
I was dreading it turning up before because like dispatched before she found out. Sorry, it's here now. just start using it before she can take it back.
Tell me about it. And so Itinerant's in the house, and he said that's for bolt action, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. You're using it for your Stalingrad project.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, I've not dealt with the Rubicon kits as well, so I thought it was a good opportunity with the sale. I thought, let's give them a go, and I'm loving the detail on some of these vehicles. I mean, the instructions as well. GW would cry over the detail in these instructions. Do you like absolutely fantastic.
The tracks are one piece as well. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, so you get the chassis, and then you got these little for the wheels to go on the back, and then the actual wheels then attached to the tracks, so it comes out a bit more and actually looks like a real wheel. But so the options as well, like you get steel wheels and rubber wheels for the road wheels, which is a nice little option. Obviously, Are
you still going to do that one as the fresh out of the factory option?
I think so. I'm going to do it as a 41 model and have some quite bad battle damage on it. So,
nice.
And some winterish weathering on it. So.
Yeah, because that's one of the options, isn't it? With the new Stalingrad book, you can have factory crews in it. You can have freshly arrived, so hasn't got its optics and something else in. There's a third option, isn't it? I can't remember what the other one is, but yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, for 140 points, T34 experience, worth a go.
You have to treat yourself to a T76 now.
T76?
T26.
T26. Oh yeah. Well, I've already got one, haven't I?
Oh yeah. The one I printed out.
It's 3D print. No, you got. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I've got a 28. Sorry, T28. And obviously got the all T70 printed.
Yeah.
Just still being painted. One day, it's just such a small little tank. I'm like, when I want to use it, I'll just paint it up, finish it up. So.
Nice.
You'll be able to airbrush it very soon.
Yeah.
Go on, Dom. I know you're dying to probably get out what you've done.
Go on. I've done nothing, mate.
Done tons this week.
Actually, you know what?
Drive it home, Dom. Drive it home.
I've gone in overdrive this week. I have to say, it's ridiculous. I've done a load of nights. Some more nights done from the footsore. Can you see them Baron War jobs? Don't know where they'll stand out terribly well. I've done a whole bunch of these done, ready to go. I've done regiment for my English Civil War project. Done them as Lord Percy's foot, which are all in white.
Very nice.
Which is very.
How many guys is that?
16 pikemen and 24 musketeers.
Shit.
And I did. Where are they over here? Oh, find this unit here. Not the green, but there you go. And a unit of 12 cavalry done. So yeah.
Very nice.
Quite pleased with how they've come out.
I bet you couldn't wait. I bet you couldn't wait all week, could you? I bet you were like
to crow about it
this week.
Yeah, well, I knew you just I give up with you anyway. You come on, you say you got nothing to paint, and then you end up painting half a ton of stuff, and then you don't. So yeah. So let's have a look who's in the house. We've got a few viewers here. We've got Leslie, of course. Leslie said, what is it? He was being rude to you, so I won't say that. Actually, I will say that because he's saying. Ken's been too long in the garden without turning over. Yeah, probably true actually.
No, it's the big light, Leslie, and it's bloody hot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have my window shut. I'm in a tiny box room and a PC's on, and it's like 27 degrees. It's hot.
We've got On Point in the house, On Point HQ. He won't like all this Russian talk because he only does German, so it's all fine. We got Seventh Son. Hi Martin, how you doing, mate? Loved the battle, but yeah, he did another battle report. Did you see anybody see Seventh Son's battle report? Black powder against his missus, and he let her win for once. God damn.
Can't do that. That's cheating.
I know, it's not fair. Not fair. Itinerant, I mentioned. I think that's everybody who said something in the chat. So if I missed somebody, I'm sorry. But that's it. So yeah, it's been one of those weeks for me. Actually, I've done quite a lot of painting, so I've been really pleased. So.
Oh, I've got. Sorry, Seb. I've got Leslie again, and Duncan. Hello, Duncan FX. I've not seen you before, buddy. How are you doing?
I think I saw Duncan comment on a video last week or this week. I can't remember what it was now. Welcome all. So, what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to ask you now. So, what are you working on now? That's the important thing. What are you doing? You both are hard at work.
Dad's army.
Yeah, Dad's army.
Doing just trying to get these Dad's armies done. Civilians.
I think I'm 34 tonight. I'm not in a painting mood, and with the airbrush coming up, I'll just start getting this ready.
She's actually let you keep it then. Return to sender. The door, mate. When it comes, and she'll be like, "Nah, I'd send it back, mate." And you'll be like, my parcel come at all? And she'll be like, "No, it's come."
Didn't turn up. Don't know where it is. No, I never heard of it.
That's why you got a refund.
Well, and I ran out of uniform grey as well, didn't I? So, whammy that night. I was just like, "That's it, I'm getting one." I was trying to paint that the rocket car, and then ran out of primer for the T-34. So I thought, "That's it, I'm doing it.
Right.
Just gonna do it.
It's gonna do it.
I mean, I'll pay for it, but
certainly bloody will. Yeah, paints. I'm in real trouble getting hold of paints at the moment. I know they're starting to come back in stock with some companies, but they're really, especially contrast paints, they're really hard to get hold of at the moment. I had a couple arrive from eBay this week, but that's it. I'm really struggling.
I got pretty lucky. Turns out one of my local hobby shop, Dice, down in Southsea, they were actually open for the for deliveries, so they would deliver to certain postcodes, and I'm literally on the edge. And they're fantastic service. I ordered it 10 o'clock one day, and I got it at 5 o'clock that night.
Nice job. Bloody hell.
And they're pretty good for stock as well. They do always have GW paints in, at least.
Yeah.
Obviously, stock for them, but
they're doing as well, Liam.
Yeah, they've just open, click and collect back up, but you got to ring the doorbell, wait for them to put on the doorstep, and then
stand back. Yeah. It's weird. I usually get it through mail companies, and they all seem to be struggling to get delivery. Because I think GW were one of the first come down, weren't they? And so it's taken a long time to get. I think they've just started coming back online, from what I read. So they're starting to get a bit of stock back in. But I've had an order with Elemental Games, I think it has, for over a month now, and they were supposed. They thought even then there was a long delivery time, and they said 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks away. I still haven't received it, but it is. I've got loads of other paints. It's just because you use a lot of it, don't you? That's the problem. It goes down really rapidly.
Yeah, I've run out of Templar.
Oh, that's interesting. Leslie says on tabletop have paints in stock and some on discount. Okay, I'll check them out. Bling Games have come back online.
Have they?
Yeah,
they're the ones I tend to use.
They're the ones I usually use for most of my stuff because they're 20% off GW stuff, aren't they? So and
I find their deliveries as well really reliable. When they say it's going to be delivered, it usually is.
Absolutely, one of the best mail order in terms of accessories and stuff like that. They just always
just realistic expectations. Is the other thing as well.
Yeah, I really like.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
But until I found this local hobby shop, and I was just like, I was kind of desperate for paint, but well, it's at the tail end. Now I found them, I'll be using that more often.
Well, it's nice to support a local shop if you can, isn't it? And if they're a good price as well.
They're about 10% off most paint. So.
I think that's the problem I have around here. There's virtually nobody left anymore. No game shops. No. It's there's one in Aldershot, but they've got rid of all their proper gaming stuff. So they sold off all their bolt action stuff a while back. But I think I bought most of it. Most of my Russian army was bought when they were selling off all their stock. So it's good for paints, but it's a long way to go just to pick up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I literally just ordered a spray can today, another one, and it just turned up. So having that has been pretty good.
And spray cans.
Ken knew that. Ken knew that shop because he done his world tour of all the shops in the south. That's how ludicrous he is.
He's probably only looking for. Was only looking for freebies, Liam. That's all it was.
It was.
Andover. Yeah.
So what else?
Crazy. I was working that day, and he just kept phoning me saying, "Oh, I'm here now." I was like, "How much?"
I went from Tidworth. I went from Triple Helix, didn't I? Across to Andover. And I spent.
Disgraceful.
I tend to do that a lot.
Well, spend lots of money, not as much as I do. I don't think. I'm working through my.
I can't wait to get to a bring and buy.
It's my English Civil War cuirassiers. I'm going to work through them because I reckon I've been doing lots of medievals and I've been lots of English Civil War. So cuirassiers are like like medieval knights. So there you go, bit of a combination of the two. That's what I'm working with. Who else? I've been doing a lot of bolt action. What, playing?
Yeah. No, painting. So I want to paint something else. So hence the fantasy miniatures.
You do need a bit of variety, don't you? I think it's really important to swap it up occasionally and not have to do the same sort of figures all the time. It really is important.
Oh yeah.
It was quite nice doing that dwarf last week.
Dwarf. Brethren after myself.
Just after so many Russians, I was like, I need something to go wild on.
And Russians are particularly dull.
Yeah, I've chosen my second. No, my next army is going to be 8th Army, and I was speaking to Ken the other day when I was just saying, "Oh no, it's another khaki army," you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether I can do it. I might have to do something else.
Yeah.
Trouble is, the Second World War, there isn't an awful lot of really bright options, are there? I mean, it's all kind of khaki.
You got the US Marines, don't you? US Marines can do their camo. Well, the Germans are quite good for it, aren't they?
I suppose so. Yeah, I suppose so.
You got camo with them, so.
Not like doing Napoleonics or something, though, is it? Or medievals or.
No.
Cool, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just the only thing that.
Rockets. So cool.
The only thing I care about is the tracks are in one piece, and you've got to glue them together. And they look shit.
Well, these ones. So you glue that part on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And then you glue the track onto them.
Same as my Panther.
Oh yeah, and that was another thing. I don't know if you've ever had Rubicon kits, have you, Dom?
Yeah.
You ordered some, didn't you?
I did order some. I haven't made any of it yet, but I did order some.
Decals. I wasn't expecting decals. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Big sheet as well, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot different from the Warlord one, which is just tends to be quite generic stuff on their box art, whereas this has got random stuff on it. So.
Swim wagon thing at the moment, and even then it's like I don't know how many options there are for number plates. There must be 40, no, maybe not. 30 different options of number plates on there. It's ridiculous, and you think, wow, is that really worth it? But it is extraordinary how many there are. I just need to finish it now. Although I did manage last week, I managed to drop a bit on the floor, and I still can't find it, which is really pissing me off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did that today because I'm making this car to obviously also have the truck to have the troop transport on the back, and there's a little nut underneath which I was going to magnetise to make it just a bit more of a firmer connection. And I had it sat in here, and I just picked this up randomly just to move it, and it just went flying off. And I still can't find it. Amateur. So I think I might have to glue a bit of metal into that little hole there to sort of do a magnet job.
Yeah.
It doesn't really need it. Like that's pretty firm anyway, but it's just doesn't have that snap feel to it, you know.
No, exactly. Oh, it's too bloody hot.
So what have we got in the chat? So On Point's working on his ECW. Believe it. He's not using his Germans again. He's using ECW. Good grief. Paul's doing Bavarian Rebellion miniatures for Infamy. Oh, nice. That'll be fun. What is it? Leslie says no mail order around. It's only mail order around where he is. Well, you're in France, mate. They're all backward there. Paul said there were 7 shop 3. I think there must have been about 4 or 5 about 10 years ago around here, and now there's, well, I can only think of 1 if you count modelling shops as well.
Yeah, I've got a question. Does anyone know what those blue stars are on this transfer sheet? They're like a blue sort of sun, and it's in a German set. I don't know what they are.
No
idea.
So I've got Africa Corps here, but I don't know what that is. Anyone in the chat know what they are? If you can you even see it?
Not really. No, not terribly well. Stars, are they?
No, they're like suns. They're blue with a white sun.
Blue with a white sun. I wonder whether it's one of what vehicle is it?
It's an SDKFZ 222.
Okay. I wonder if it's. I'm trying to think, but it was something like it's not Hungarian because they had sort of white crosses, didn't they?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's Bulgarian or something like that. Not entirely sure.
I don't know if anyone knows that's the sun. There's bloody 4 sprues with this thing. I've forgotten how big and complicated this thing was to put together because I've already done one of these.
They are involved. They're proper models, aren't they? They really are proper models. That's what always put me off with them. But they're not that difficult to put together, I'd say.
Anything else?
Oh, really? You're really converted?
No. Yeah, well, definitely over the Warlord stuff, I think.
Yeah, I am.
Sacrilege.
Sacrilege.
Oh, we got
the Italieri kit.
All the Italieri kits, that's one.
So I was just going to say, welcome to Chris. Chris said he's just found us on YouTube. Heard you speak a lot of bolt action. Have you looked at tactic? Yeah, I have, mate. I've got the rules, but I haven't played a game yet.
Haven't played it yet?
No. No, I have not played it yet. It does look fun, and I watched. Oh God, who was it? Did somebody, one of the regular tubers does is really big into it. He organised what they called a world championships somewhere in Stoke or something like that, and he videoed a lot of it. It did look really good fun. Those guys, the nutty guys from Scandinavia who do the videos, came over and played in it, and it did look great fun. But I haven't played it yet. Although I think you can play it with bolt action figures, can't you? You can play. You don't have to play the 48 scale figures. Although they look really nice, I must admit. But no, I haven't played that before. Prezzo, that's it. Well done, mate. Yeah, that's the one. And Martin.
Don't forget to check out Miniature Wargaming Warriors channel.
Getting a plug in there now, eh? God, he's trying to see. I keep feeding him viewers, and somehow he's still got more than me. I don't work it out. What the hell's going on? God damn! He steals all my freebies. He steals, my viewers. Jesus, what do you do? Son says he's got Yorkist heavy cavalry on the desk at the moment for War of the Roses. Ooh, I bet that's fun.
Very nice.
Are you doing contrast paints with them, mate? I hope so. Really enjoyed doing them. I've got a whole load of heavy cavalry to do. Gonna have to do them soon. And Paul is being really cheesy and doing nationalist. That has got to be the cheesiest list in bolt action, don't you think? Really has.
Nationalist Chinese.
Yeah.
What models are you using, Paul, to those then? What are you using as your base?
I'm waiting for him to answer, but of course he can't.
Yeah. Are they the ones that basically get everything the Russians have, as well as another characteristic?
I think they are, aren't they? I think they're kind of a bit like rough. a bit of Japanesey feel to them, I think. But they have all sorts of special units that can do things like infiltration and hit initial deployment in front of the army and all that kind of stuff. And I think they can be. Then you can get all these wonderful armoured cars and stuff packed full of machine guns. I always hear. I've never really seriously looked at it as a list, but I do hear they're quite cheesy. There you go. Oh dear. And Leslie. Oh no, he's talking about something else. No, he's talking about GW in Caen, 45 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the Chinese get some US stuff, so there you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Sorry.
What were the questions this week, Don?
Bloody hell! I've got to find some. I did actually do some, didn't I? Here we go. I'm going to ask about terrain building, because I saw you obviously your fourth part here. I was going to give you a plug for your channel, and I don't need to now because you've already stolen the plug. You did your fourth part of the Stalingrad build, so I wanted to get some tips on do-it-yourself kind of tricks who don't do it.
Yeah, go on.
So what do you go about it? Where do you start? Is it have you all building for a start? Is it something you can just pick up and just fly with?
It is and it isn't. such an Irish answer there. But yeah, no, terrain. What I started with like small stuff, and then just gradually worked up. So start with like this that. It was, I don't know. We needed terrain, didn't we, Liam?
Yeah.
That was the dire thing. Is we needed terrain, and I wanted to play with terrain, so it was the case of either do terrain or don't. But again, it was YouTube. I watched Mel the Terrain Shooter.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of his videos.
Luke's APS.
He was a bit later on. He was more towards doing my first board, but Mel the Terrain Shooter's got some really good like basic terrain tips and things like that. But you pick up things. So like say the easy things like fencing, but they add so much to a game, or roads. So like fences are like 2 lollipop sticks and barbecue skewers. Look, I've got a packet of barbecue skewers just sitting here.
Yeah, I've used them for logs and stuff in the past.
You just need to use your imagination. You can use anything for terrain. It just depends what sort of terrain you want to build.
I think that's what's always worried me a little bit with it, because it's having all the bits and bobs to do it right, and knowing, kind of like you did with the Stalingrad board. You get big bases of stuff and art card and all sorts of other things. I'm thinking, oh Christ, that means I've got to go and buy it, and then what if I make a hash of it, and I've got to have this bit of equipment and that. Right.
It's all pretty cheap to like buy and use. You can make terrain out of anything.
Yeah.
That XPS foam stuff is like about 6-7 sheet of it just to practice with. That's all that's made out of is XPS foam. And I'm just the foam that you see me hot glue down is the foam out of the tabletop tyrant case. Where you take the bits out the batch, you put your miniatures in.
Yeah.
That's all that is. I just cut it up. It's just repurposing. It's just repurposing hobby stuff.
So you're recycling.
So like
you're green.
Yeah. So when I do, any sort of speckling work, so like I use a sponge. Do you know how the blisters you get the sponge?
Yeah.
I just keep 1 or 2 of the sponges. And there's.
Oh, cool. I should have a go at that. I've never. I've fiddled around with it. In fact, funny enough, one of the reasons I was talking about this because I did actually do this. Well, I did a group of these walls just using sticks that I found around, and I just thought I'll have a go at it because I've never actually tried like that, and it's come out all right, and it was dead simple, but it was just stuff that I happened to have around, so I found these sticks when I was out on a walk, made sure they've dried out thoroughly, and just a bit of wood I had kicking around in the garage to put them on, and then just normal flocking and stuff, but I never really did it. And the idea of something as big as Stalingrad board is a bit daunting for someone like me. I have to say, who has virtually no skill.
If you do small things, so like you've done a technique there of doing woodlands, right? You can now do a whole wood. There's no reason you couldn't do a wood because you've on a small scale. You just need to do it in a bigger. You just do it in a bigger scale. So it's like you build a building. So you build a foam building you're happy with. Okay, I built a foam building. well, I'll just build it in a big scale. That's all you're doing. You're just upscaling. And that's the daunting thing for some people, is you're just upscaling it. To be honest with you, it takes more time than anything else. The bigger you go, the more time it takes. So, to do one of them videos, for me to get all that stuff out, it's going to take me at least an hour to set everything up, to do a video and to get ready to film and stuff. And I got to do all the work. And I'll try and do like 6 hours and in a row to make it worthwhile when you're doing a big board.
Yeah,
100%.
Also, you got to have space to leave it up while it's, haven't you? That's the other thing.
Yeah, or work around it. Like, I've got my house isn't that big. I've only got a 2-bedroom house, and there's not a huge amount of room. My missus
storing it, isn't it?
Doesn't like thing. It's downstairs at the minute. It's leant up against the wall, so that's where it will stay until it's complete, and then it will or it'll go up my mum's.
Storage.
Yeah. Yeah, Liam's loft is a treasure. But
and the shed.
And the shed. Yeah, and the shed. There's a board out there. I forgot about that. I'll tell you what, Dom. I've got a video from ages ago. You've probably not seen it. I did like a live stream, and I showed you how to do a field in less than 10 minutes. Just out of an old £1.99 rug.
Oh, I used to use those back in the day. I used to go down to B&Q and places like that and pick up those like those felt tile things that people used to have down in their things, and they're dead easy. You just cut them up. They're perfect for that sort of thing, and often they have the sort of ridges already in them, don't they? And they're ideal.
Well, well, all I did with mine is I just painted it. It was a brown already, but I painted it more of an earthy brown. I put some glue on it, and then I just chucked some flock, and it looks like an overgrown field. It's done.
Nice. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I'm a bit. I took on board from all these things, Luke's channels and stuff, and sometimes they can be quite daunting. But when it's kind of really basic stuff like that, you kind of think, actually, this is very doable. I know. On Point did a video talking about he just did some really ornate basing for his figures. He just was absolutely crazy bases he does with some of his figures. But he used oh god, it was, I can't remember what it was, or something like that. He got out of like pound shop. That was just little sticks, and he used those. And when you break them off, they look just like 28 mil tree trunks. So he just, for £1 long strip all wired together, she just clipped the wires, and suddenly you got a whole load of dead sticks. Whereas I found all my sticks out when I was out on my isolation walks, and it's really hard to find ones that are just perfect size. They're straight enough, because you don't want too much of a bend when you build. They just don't sit right, and you've got to then do a jigsaw of it all. So it's kind of knowing those little cheats, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you're seriously into terrain, because you'll be going around any sort of shop and you'll look at something and you'll go, ooh, that would make quite good at that. It's like I've got birthday wrapping paper, paper, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The tube that's inside.
Yeah.
That tube is now going to be a board for the factory.
Fantastic.
Because it's the perfect thing, but then because you get the toilet roll issue with it, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some of that sculpt mold and put it over it really thin, and it will dry rock solid. And it you won't see the whatchamacallits. But while it's drying, I could either do one or two things. I could take the brick. Oh bloody hell! Where is it? Here it is. So like the brick rolling pin, and just roll it round on the stuff, or I could go in with some foam bricks art, or I could go in with some foam after with my foam cutter. I can cut it really thin so it bends.
Right.
So
you've frozen, Liam.
But yeah,
I can hear you, but your picture's frozen for me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, your picture is frozen.
They're willow edging, apparently. Absolute top stuff. Yeah, I was really impressed with that, mate. It really worked well. It looked really, really good. And Leslie said best sticks are from heather plants, the large old bits. Yeah, I can understand that. Kind of, nice and woody, aren't they? That's what you want. But the thing is, I always find
you've got to be dead, and you want it to.
Yeah.
It's like I bake. If I picked up a load of soil and stuff, I'd bake it. I I baked a load of oh Christ, what's it called?
Ballast.
Ballast, that's it. How did you know what I meant?
Because I did the same. We mentioned it before on one of the chats, but I did exactly the same thing. And before I discovered Luke's APS, which is just so much easier to use, I said, I'll learn a baking tray and bake it in the oven and hope the missus didn't catch it. And don't touch it before it's really cooled down, because bloody hell does it get hot.
No, I made that mistake.
Jeez, does it get hot. But it's an effective way of doing it, isn't it? And you know, a cheap bag of ballast. Oh, he's upside down now, Liam. Look at that. Oh, now he's back again. He went to Australia all of a sudden.
What an absolute gumbo.
What a gumbo. I'll tell you as well. It's a bit dark now.
But yeah, I built a bag of ballast from Wix or something like that, and it's great actually, because then the bigger rocks that you get in it, I use then on basing on you know, for bigger dioramas, or you know, like I did on these. I use the bigger stones in there, and it kind of works really nicely. But I think that's as far as I've ever gone.
That's all that Luke does. Is he gets massive bags of stuff and he mixes it. That's all he does for his APS stuff, because he knows that people aren't going to go around a builder's merchant, get all these different stuff, just cut this one blend of whatever it is. You know, you buy it in mass. You know, it's cheaper to buy it bulk, but then, oh my god, are you ever going to use a whole ballast? Because I sure as hell ain't.
I've still got mine still around the corner. I've started. My wife would put in the bottom of flower plots. So there you
go. Exactly. It's only like £3 as well. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Cheap.
It is, and I think that's the thing. But for me, that's a bit of a big step up from doing those sort of, you know, like fields and walls and hedges and even a bridge or two. I think I've done a bridge before now in the past. But then to do the sort of big scale boards like you've been doing, it just seems a bit. I guess it's just scaling up. That's all it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I crapped myself on the first time was pouring resin. That was done for the original board. I poured a load of resin. I was like, "Don't touch it, Liam! Don't touch it!"
Different.
Yeah. It was it. No, I didn't even wear a mask back then. I didn't even know. I didn't even know what a danger resin was.
Breathing it in.
God,
breathing it in like it was, like it was beauty.
Now who's the gumbo, eh?
Me firmly.
What about you, Liam? Have you ever done any big board? I know you helped Ken out. You've done these stuff with Ken and what have you. But
well,
me out.
Yeah, it did my helping him out, and this happened. So the COVID situation. So I got away with it that time.
Extreme to avoid it, mate.
I really enjoy painting terrain. Especially between, like you say, it's the variety thing, isn't it? Like when you're doing a load of inventory or tanks or whatever, then you go to something like a terrain piece where you don't have to worry about the little details so much. Just, you know, dry brush it real quick, and you've got something really nice in front of you, and big difference as well. People,
terrain is such an important part of the games, isn't it? It just that a decent battlefield with nice looking terrain is just makes the hobby, for me, perfect. I mean, that's you know, decent mates to play it with,
Ken's
preferably a beer, and decent figures and decent terrain, and not playing Ken is absolutely the perfect world, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So his introduction game was a couple of books on a table, and look at him now.
And I thought I wasn't having that.
It's odd, isn't it? I think, you know, I watch people, and you know, I've seen videos and games at clubs and what have you when I visited over the years and they have, you know, beautiful terrain, and then unpainted figures moving around it, and then vice versa. You go to other ones where they got these beautiful figures, you know, kind of pile of books or unpainted terrain, and you think,
great,
why are you doing it?
I've already decided no one's playing on that Stalin grab board with unpainted miniatures. it deserves better.
All that work you put into it, you want it to work, yeah.
Seb, Elliot, and Dave, if you're listening, get those minis of painting. Get them a painting. You can put dwarfs on it.
Shame.
No, not dwarves. Don't
Him
put
and his
us crossing
shame.
the stream, that is. Well, it could look like some sort of Helm's Deep or something, couldn't it? I don't know. How different would it look?
To be fair, that board as well. Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be good. It'd be good for Warhammer 40,000 as well.
Some
Ninth edition.
guardsmen will look good on there.
Yeah, 9th edition, 40k. One day. Well, I'll tell you what. I was going to say. Do you want to do a next question? Because I do want to talk about something tonight. I've got something I want to speak about.
Well, I was just going to ask before we do. What's your what would be your tip for getting into doing terrain? What would be the
Start small. So just start small with something that you want to achieve. Do scatter terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, scatter terrain. I'll tell you what. Do bases. Yeah, bases. MDF is pretty good. You've got to be careful with it though, because you get warping.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a bit of a pain in the ass. What I'd probably recommend you do, actually, in all fairness, if you're in the UK, go to B&Q when it's open. At the minute, you can do click and collect at B&Q, can't you?
Yep.
So
you can.
You can
go to B&Q as well now, I think.
Get some free mil. They actually sell it in packs. Believe it or not, I did not know this, but they sell it some free mil XPS foam. Use that with some PVA glue, but it doesn't warp as bad, and it doesn't warp at all actually, because it's space styrofoam, so it's quite good for like basing, and it's quite low to the table. But just do some scatter terrain, like you just get a couple of big rocks out of your garden. You can make like we've got, Liam, in it, the Lord of the Rings stuff. We've just got a couple of rocks that look like boulders. Like, just get the right scale, and you can either leave them as they are. I probably wouldn't leave them if they're like the yellowy colour stone. I'd probably just spray them grey and just put a black wash over them, or a dry brush. And that's your first bit of scatter terrain, and a bit of fluff. Yes, like I said, his stuff is spot on. Is grassy plains is the one most of my miniatures are based in. That stuff's really good. But you got the Highland stuff. Yeah, just keep it simple. Just do some like fences.
And it just makes such a difference in that little bits.
It's a game, and trees as well. Trees. You can buy cheap trees off China and make them look good, easily. Where's one? Let's see if I can find it.
Or just your little model shops, your railway models.
Yeah, your railway shops. Yeah, the railway. Yeah, don't ignore the railway guys. Those guys know what they're doing.
They do, actually. There's some fantastic stuff you buy in the railway shops, and it's cheaper as well than the wargaming stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So you got like tree there. That's a crappy tree. And all I do is I put some basing material on it, and it just changes it. You still got the plastic bit at the bottom there. I haven't bothered changing it because there's no point. It's just going to go on the table. You won't see it. But just spend a bit of time. Get some 60 or 50 mil. Like there's MDF bases there.
Yeah.
Circular ones. Just all cut some out with the foam if you want to do bigger stuff, and just put some scatter on it.
Yeah.
Just a bit of PVA glue. That's all you really need. Just start small and watch lots of YouTube. That's the massive one. Watch lots of YouTube. Watch lots of people doing stuff. But then don't be scared. Go out and try, because a failure is not a failure. A step closer to becoming a success.
Happy little accident.
Oh my goodness, he sounds like one of those motivational videos, just like that. Fantastic.
Good, isn't it?
I agree with you. I think it's give it a go. Give them a go. That's what I think. Worst it's going to be you spent a couple of quid on or freebie stuff you found. It'll just you can just put it in the bin. Generally, nobody needs to know.
But you'll get better at it. That's the whole thing. Because you will get better at it, and you'll think, oh, I can do that better, and you will do it better next time. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed. Well, I say my limited bits I've done, and you do feel a bit pleased with it. Although I have to say, when I was sorting out the garage a few weeks ago, and I found some of the stuff I'd done years and years, quietly put that into a black bin bag and took it down to the bins, because it was just like. But but there's no harm in doing that, because then you can just do it again, can't you? Well, precisely.
If you wanted to do that, you can. There's nothing wrong with doing that if you're not happy with something. If your skill comes on that much, I started the hobby a few years ago to where I am now. My skill's completely different.
Well, that's the same with everything, isn't it? With painting, with it's like anything in life. Generally, practice makes perfect. You get better with practice. It's no, who was the golfer was it? I think it was Lee Trevino or someone like that said after he'd holed some bunker shot from some distance, and some guy said, "Oh, that was lucky," and he said, "Yeah, it's funny. I get the luck. Funny how much luckier I get the more I practice." And it's true. It's exactly that. You know, you practice, you practice, you practice, you get better. Funny that.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. You're gonna have a game on the old Stalingrad board then, Don?
Yeah, we'll do, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll be there. I'll bring my beer.
You do that, you die. I know you got a Winter Russian army. I've seen the video, so don't give me that crap.
Yeah, I'll bring it. I've even got some extra bits for it now, so you know. I did my Vasily figure. Oh, that one I did this week as well. There you go. I did Vasily as well.
Oh, nice.
Where he's gone, but it's somewhere around here. I'll show you.
Vasily for everyone.
Vasily all round.
Although I want to do the On Point did the German guy on one of his videos, and I want to do that. I want that, man. Fantastic.
Bit of a kit bash, is it?
Yeah, he did a kit bash. I think I can't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head where he got it from, but he found a figure that looked very similar to the movie character, and and painted him up. And he, again, talk about sort of going OTT with this sort of mini diorama built around him with half a wall with a window. With this sniper holding the gun up like this. It's absolutely fantastic. Well worth a view. Envious of the work he does there. Fantastic. Anyway, Ken, what were you wanted to ask? Come on, you ask it before we run out.
Don't know what's the time. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, no, I was going to say, what game are you looking forward to playing that you haven't played yet then? I know what mine is. But what about you then, Liam? What's a game you want to play that maybe not has been released yet? Could be a tabletop game, could be a board game. Preferably tabletop, but I know what you're like with your board games. You love your board games.
Yeah, I do love a board game. Hell Caesar, actually, I'm warming more to giving that a go at some point. And Undaunted is a special place in my heart. And that the North Africa campaign's coming out. Adding tanks in and commanders and stuff onto it, so that should be pretty fun. We still haven't finished the base game, have we? But it's just such a good little board game that you can just get out, play 30 minutes, pack it away, and just feel like you've had a little story that night of a big battlefield, even though you haven't really. No,
it's not taken very long either, is it? So
no, exactly, yeah. So you can't have 2 turrets from this gun. Sorry, I just figured out there's one piece that you don't have 2 of, so you can't make both turrets. But
so you got to repeat one repeats. So that's annoying.
Yeah, they do that, don't they? In most kits, they leave you one part of a turret that you can't make both variants of.
Well, apart from the KV1 and the KV2, where you can actually build completely different turrets, and that's great. Really useful.
Yes, that is a great kit, and you get 7 infantrymen with it.
That's true. Barging. I'm trying to think what I would want to play. I'm looking forward to Infamy coming out from Too Fat Lardies, which is their ancient rule set. Really looking forward to that. I still want to play Clash of Spears. So I'm just looking up there because it's up on my bookshelf up there. Clash of Spears, which was the rule set that was done just towards the end of last year through Kickstarter as an ancient rule set. Again, sort of small groups, a bit like there's a decent versions of SPQR, which is just absolutely dire, as we know. So those two I really want to have a go at. But I'm still trying to find the perfect medieval rule set. Not perfect, but a decent one. I know everyone keeps going on about Lion Rampant, and I will have a go at that, I promise. But it just doesn't appeal that much. I know I played quite a few Hell Caesar. That's a good set. I quite like that. Yeah. It's a very it's a very basic set. It's very much like Black Powder. Once you play Black Powder, you can play, Hell Caesar pretty much. You can play Pike and Shot pretty much. Is it off the same sort of philosophy as Bolt Action with alternative activation? No, it's not. Nothing like that at all. No, it runs
You go,
principles.
I go,
yeah, basically it is you go, I go. It runs on command principles. So your army is built up into divisions or brigades or such like, depending on the period, and each commander has a command rating, and you roll 2 dice when you want to do anything. So you know, like, I don't know, pike and shot, or say hail season. Yeah, you'd be buggered. You wouldn't move at all. So say you've got a commander with a rating of 8, commanding your Roman legionary corps, and you want to move them, you know, across the table. You will roll 2 dice, and if you roll 8 or less, you can move them 3 under the 8, so you get 5. Then you can move 3 times. If you roll 2 under, you roll twice, and it's modified with things like if they're in certain formations, like column formations, often help them to move quicker. Certain you know, drilled troops can do certain things, so it's sort of modified. That's the way the command system works. And if you fail, your entire command stops moving, so it doesn't move for a turn. Which can be it's kind of one of those fun things with all those black powder Hell Caesar rule system is that once you have like 3 or 4 different brigades or divisions or what have you, depending on how they call it, and suddenly 2 of them don't move for the first couple of turns, and then you've got to try and deal with that and how you cope with that. And you can mitigate it to a certain degree by having different commanders with different command structures. So you can have a reserve with, you know, it's fairly basic stuff, but it's as Leslie says disparagingly, it's a GW type game, and it sort of is. But you know, check it out on YouTube. There's some really good videos. I know Seventh Son, he's just saying he's Hail Caesar for War of the Roses games, and it works really well. And I played of that, and it does. I think I'm just looking for something slightly different from that, but it's a good system, and I do enjoy it. I think it's good fun. It plays
a good starter one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say, once you've done it, then you can move and do black powder, or you can do pike and shot or whatever if you want to, because it's pretty much the same rule system. There's a few nuances for different periods and special rules and what have you can apply, and that allows you to play from, well, you know, from biblical times right the way through to, I guess, the turn of the First World War. Most of those rule systems will effectively take you one way or another, so it's good. But yeah, it's fun.
We've got a chain of command, haven't we? Is that what you're thinking, are you?
No.
Go on then. What are you waiting to get playing with then, Ken?
It's a couple of years away. Liam probably guessed right away.
Oh yeah. You are very much looking forward to that, aren't you?
Yeah. Warhammer. Sorry, Leslie. The Old World is making a return. The Old World is basically what, speculation is they got rid of the fantasy game, their original game, which I never got to play. I never got to collect minis for it or anything like that. So I'm pretty much really looking forward to that, because I can be dwarves.
See,
I think they will go a bit further back than the original Fantasy Battles one.
Yeah, I think
go
they
back
will.
to Age of Sigmar, actual Age of Sigmar. Yeah, when he was a human.
Yeah, because
humans on the back foot.
Shop killed fantasy by ending all the stories in their last book in the End Times. They literally killed it off. They said this person died, that person died, this person died. So they killed all the characters basically.
Yeah,
that's how they made Age of Sigmar, because it was in the future. But obviously every Warhammer games on Steam, they've done so well. They're going back to the Old World and using square bases. So I'm very much looking forward to doing that, and I feel sorry for the poor people that got really shitty about it and burnt their armies and melted their armies.
Never ever do that.
No, there was a lot of kickback through it, but I can't wait. That's like 2 years away, and I can't wait for that. That is what.
So I won't pretend to know anything about Games Workshop, because it's not my thing at all. But listening to, oh God, who was it? Paint All the Minis, I think it was, his podcast, and he was talking about some of the changes that are coming through the game and through various things in Games Workshop. And he said he put it down to the fact they've got a new CEO who's sort of taking the company, kind of the old days, if you like, the old days of Games Workshop and the things that worked for it. And he reckoned that a lot of the changes like this was because of this guy. I don't know whether that's true or not, but On Point says that accountants, they think it's a good idea to bring it back, and it's probably true. It's all about the money.
100%. Yeah,
and you did have to have a massive army for that as well, so it did sell a lot of minis, really.
Yeah.
Which goes against the...
Yeah, I was going to say, it sold a lot of minis, but the problem was it was out for so long, you could only have the edition, keep editioning it, keeping people interested for so long. So you make a completely different rule set. But now people are going to get into this, are going to be like the old fantasy players, they're going to be like, oh shit, I can do this, I can do that again. And everyone's going to be like, oh man, I need to buy all the minis again. Because they brought out a new sculpt, they're going to make so much. I
guarantee people didn't sell their minis that much. The fantasy guys, a lot of them were hardcore. I bet a lot of them kept them. It was only me that sold mine.
I was literally about to say, did you keep yours, Liam?
I wasn't that much into fantasy ever, really. It was never as much of a pull to me than 40k. So it was always a secondary thing, really.
Secondary thing. Looking at me like I'm some sort of scum.
No, it is a very good game. It's more complicated than 40k, for sure. It was.
I know, that's what I think I want. I like the idea. Like I was saying to Dom and that, I like the idea of the old bows and arrows and that medieval sort of.
It was the magic, man. The magic.
Magic.
Wipe out an entire army with magic. It was a bit over the top sometimes.
Well, hopefully they won't do that in this one.
Yeah, see, that's a good point, Liam. So, devil's advocate here. So, if you like all the pointy stick things and the arrows and stuff, why don't you play ancients or medievals? Why do you have to go and have all fantasy stuff?
Because you can't have dwarves and ancients and medieval. And they can't attack. They can't attack some sort of or a dead mummy that's come back to life.
Fair point.
It's the 10-year-old boy inside me that goes, I want to play with dwarves.
So basically, your whole fantasy is dwarves.
Oh yeah, can't wait. I'm literally gonna name every character. No, I'm gonna name every model I get. Seriously, they're gonna get names. Cannot wait. Just.
You're going to write them on the figure basis, so you know who they are, and you're going to build their family lines. And
I won't. No, Dom, I won't need to write it on the figure basis. I'll just know.
I can't believe you're that excited when you've not even ever played it. Crazy.
Sad, isn't it?
So you're going to be hugely disappointed if the system comes out and it's just complete twash, aren't you?
No, I'll just give fantasy a go. Well, that's
You got that rule book, didn't you? Have a read of that.
Yeah.
Try and figure out how to move a troop.
Yeah, with the wheeling and all that stuff.
Wheeling around, yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I must admit, I can't remember. We were talking about this while streams, but about the ancient Warhammer system, and you said I think that it's there's a thriving Facebook page about it, and I joined it, and you're right. It's just countless people playing it still. And it's really making a comeback, so I think I might have to research it. I enjoyed that system. Sorry, Leslie. Everything's sorry, Leslie, when it comes to these rule systems. But I really like it. I thought that was such a good rule system, and that was why I never played the fantasy version, but that was what appealed to me. Was the because I liked the ancient version. Have I got it around here? No, I did have the first edition book somewhere. Well, it was a box.
Well done. I've got the PDFs of them, the books. But well done. You might for your birthday get a box of orcs. Goblins or orcs, Dom?
Will they bring back the square bases?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. No, Liam, they said not everything needs to be round. There is such a thing as square.
Mm.
It's happening.
Why?
Just hard to believe they're going back on a decision like that.
No, they're not. It's a marketing thing again, because you've got to buy models again in square bases.
Oh, that's what I hate about Games Workshop. There you go. That's the whole thing. That's why I will no.
Yeah, it is definitely a put off now. Now I've gone elsewhere and seen all these other game companies, and it's Games Workshop.
Yeah, I agree. Leslie said Games Workshop is a good way of bringing new players into historical gaming. Hang on a minute. He almost said something positive out of Games Workshop. What is going on? Does it really, though? That's the thing. I mean, I know people like these two here, nutcases, that came via that route, but does it get that many people into proper gaming, as I'm going to call it from now on?
I think a lot of people used to go to Fantasy back in the day because it used to be more advanced, so and you kind of get away from a lot of the people who just got into the hobby, but some people never got away from that, just stay with Fantasy for years and years and years, so. But yeah, now there's no. That's why we tried out a bit of historicals, but we were kind of on the edge anyway, weren't we, Ken?
Yeah, well, I love history. And I still haven't listened to Mark Felton yet on YouTube. Have you, Dom?
Oh, he's great.
Maybe not.
Liam, tell him how good he is. Liam.
Oh yeah. He gives the old so many cool little stories that you never heard anywhere else on the History Channel or whatever. But KB1's taken out. Fans of what's Panzer threes.
I do. I listen to a lot of those sort of channels anyway. So in fairness, so I must listen to him. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Come on in, chat. What games are you itching to play? What's new that's on your radar? Tell us in the chat. Want to know.
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Leslie says, that's why Bolt Action is so popular.
Don't feel ashamed if it's a Games Workshop game. Do not feel ashamed.
Yeah, feel really ashamed.
Actually, there is a game, Liam, as well, that I wouldn't mind playing with you, which we both own, is All Out War from Mantic. Walking Dead, isn't it?
Yep, nice easy skirmish game.
Yeah, we're looking forward to doing that. A little campaign. It'd be quite nice, to be fair.
Definitely something different.
Yeah, exactly. Have you heard of that, Dom?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Walking Dead All Out War.
Yeah.
We got a bargain, didn't we, up at Mantic?
Here he goes with the bargain.
Go see, there you are, Mr. Bargain
The collector's
Hunter.
edition exclusive. It was exclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think when they first brought out the game, they kickstarted it, and you get a mouse mat type fold out. Yeah, and also 3D models for the terrain. Otherwise, the base game's just flat cardboard pieces. So, those are little extras. I think it was.
You got a load of extra models, didn't you?
Yeah, they're still 70.
Yeah. I think. No, it's 100. It's 100 quid.
Yeah.
It was 100. It was £100, and we got it for 50 because the box was. What was it? It didn't have the cards in.
Yeah, it was the demo model, basically. I think they had taken it around here, there, and everywhere. So they actually replaced the rulebook because it got lost in transit somewhere. So they got a new rulebook out for us. It was brilliant, and then they made sure it was complete as well before selling it to us. Oh, that was it. It was international as well. So it had the international. Yeah, because they obviously when they done the Kickstarter, they had to print entries. So Spanish, French, and English on it.
That was it. That was it.
So
nice.
that also got us a bit of a discount, and it was a right bargain in the end.
Yeah, it was good.
Paul says infamy. I'm not surprised, mate. I knew you were going to say that. And on point, he's saying 15mm version of Legends of the Old West, Games Workshop book game, but no sign of cutesy looking cartoons. Like a Warhammer version of that, wasn't there? I think I've got it downstairs in the garage. It's is it called Tales of the Old West? I think something like that. I never actually played it. I picked up the rules and they look kind of fun, and I always fancied doing a Western thing. Game system. Anyone seen that game system? I'm trying to think who. I watched too many videos and I can't remember who did it. So apologies if it's one of you guys in the chat. Someone did a video of. Actually, I think it might have been Seventh Son, talking about a Western system that's sort of slightly fantasy, space fiction type thing, where you have a sort of group
Does ring a
of
bell.
desperados and you run around and the sort of different creatures and what have you pop out. That looked quite fun.
I think it's a Mantic game, isn't it?
Didn't I see? I swear we saw that at Warfare. Might not been War. No, yeah, it was Warfare.
Yeah, it was a lot of terrain for it. It wasn't stalls selling Wild West terrain.
Yeah.
I think he was playing it on like a 2-foot tile, so it wasn't big range. But as you say, lots of different buildings, and you could go in and fight it out in the buildings, and it looked kind of fun. A Wild West Exodus, that's the one.
Yeah, that's
Exodus.
Yeah.
War Cradle. Yeah, that one. That looked kind of fun. And again, that kind of was appealing because you only need like a half a dozen figures.
Yeah, that's another thing. All that war is just literally 2 or 3 figures you can have on your team.
Dead Man's Hand. Is that a different system? Well, I'm all confused now. I thought it was Exodus, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. But that feels to me. It reminds me of that. Was it Cowboys versus Aliens movie with?
Oh yeah.
What's his face? James Bond in, which was kind of stupidly funny. Really like that. Chris is saying Battlestar Galactica ship Star Wars Legion.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Battlefleet Gothic, mate. I still want to play that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't tried to somewhere snatch a little dart set. I would like to play that. Playing the PC version. Oh, it's pretty much a direct, like obviously real time rather than turn-based.
I'm telling you right now, I've already got a list for the bring and buy of what I'm going for. So that is one of them. I've got 3 questions to ask. Do you have any dwarfs? Got any epic stuff? And have you got the Battlefleet Gothica? That will be asked.
Oh dear. So yeah, I think there's some. I mean, the good thing is again, there's so many good game systems. My problem is time. I don't have enough time to play the ones that I like playing now. So getting another bloody load of rules to learn and play with, and then play it as well, because it's all very well.
Oh, you won't have any problem now. No, I can come up and play eventually. I'll try anything out. I'll literally try anything. I don't care. If I can roll dice for it, I really don't care. That's why we play a lot of box games, don't we, Liam? We're quite interested in box games. We might only play it 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at least we've tried it,
Yeah, and I think that's important. Games you play and you think, wow, I wouldn't have bought it. It's like when you go to a show and you try out one of the participation games and you think, I wouldn't have bought this, but it's kind of fun. And then conversely, the same happens. I've had rule systems where I think, I really wanted this, and then you try it out at a show, and then you think, no, maybe not for me, which is good.
Well, I played that Tanks. It was part of the Team Yankee thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be really quite exciting. It wasn't too bad, but it's not something that I would go out and just spend a hell of a lot of money on just getting a load of tanks for. But at least I've tried it,
Yeah, a couple of guys at the Farnborough Club, actually the last week before we shut down, and it kind of just looked a bit, I don't know really, I thought, well, I love the idea, I mean, tanks are just great, tanks are sexy, full stop, aren't they? But
yeah,
just, I don't know, the game just looked a bit unsatisfying.
Yeah, you don't really use a lot of terrain, it doesn't, it's battling out basically, who gets the dice first, and it wasn't the best. But
it's like I played What a Tanker by Two Fat Lardis at I think it was at Warfare last year. I can't remember now. One of the shows, and I was really disappointed by it. I didn't really enjoy it at all, which is unusual. I love the Lardy games usually, but it just wasn't for me. So everyone's going to love the same stuff. Otherwise, we'd be very boring people, wouldn't we?
No, exactly. For compromises, people make compromises because they, there's the other opponent and that. It's like Liam, you like your deck builders, don't you? Like cards and stuff.
Yeah, not too heavy on the cards.
No, but like Undaunted and that, don't you?
Yeah.
But before we played that, I would never have played it. That didn't interest me in the slightest.
No.
I played it because I knew Liam wanted to play it, but then it turns out actually I really enjoyed it.
It was the perfect mix, wasn't it? Of deck
it was. It still felt like we were playing a board game.
Yeah.
So board games, Liam. You mentioned earlier you're really into board games. Why?
Do you want me to show you what really into board games means?
Go on then. Let's see your shame pile.
Ah, there you go.
That's
that is a board game.
Oh, shit, that is enormous. I thought that was a pile of them. Bloody hell, that's.
Yeah,
10 kilos, isn't it?
It is, especially with the. I've got a divider for it as well, like a laser cut divider, and it does make things a lot easier when packing it away. And then this bad boy, which we completed last year, was it?
Oh yeah, that was good.
Was it January or last year?
No, it was last year. It was in November. No,
yeah, but that had a great story to it. But yeah, sorry, what was the question?
just I mentioned board games and you were off. Bloody hell! No, I was just intrigued. I mean, why board games over figure games, or what do you prefer?
Well, it's kind of the story with a lot of board games. I know you can have quite a lot of war games where you got a story. Board games you can get where you build a narrative as a small group of people. It's just it's good fun, and I do enjoy teaching it to people that wouldn't sort of try a board game like that. They'd rather play Monopoly or whip out Gloomhaven and give it a go. But it's surprising how many people.
Do you think it's an easier thing to get people into then? Is that one of the attractions? Mates who would never touch a wargaming figure.
Yeah, and as a group, you kind of sort of get out as a party game or something, and they might find it interesting. Blackstone is obviously 40k related lore, so kind of. If it appeals to them in that sort of respect, then they might end up getting into the hobby that way. So
yeah,
but a few people more interested in 40k because of Talisman or something like that. Never heard of that game. Space Hulk, that's another one. You get loads of 40k minis in that. You play that, and then they're like, "Oh, what are these miniatures?"
They're gateway games.
Yeah, and like you say, it's just ease of just packing away, not having to pack the board away and everything else with it. So sometimes it's just nice to crack out a little board game.
Yeah, well, when I go round sometimes, isn't it, Liam, and we don't film, we play a board game sometimes, don't we? Because it's just easier and we don't have to spend all the time setting it up. And I don't think a lot of people realise how much time actually goes into doing YouTube. A lot of time goes into doing that.
Yeah, it does.
We have to. People don't realise, especially that board build video took me 2 days of like 8-hour sessions to edit.
I remember your voice when I phoned you halfway through that. How knackered you sounded.
Yeah, I was like, I'm fucked, man.
Skin. There's a global pandemic.
Yeah.
It's true though that
I mean, said it. I mean, said it's not good enough, Gumbo. No.
It's I'm true on both accounts. I mean, I think videos take forever. I'm trying to edit. I found some I hadn't actually put up on the channel for a sharp practice game, so I'm just trying to edit that. But it's a bloody nightmare. Anyway, taking forever. But hopefully I'll get that done this week, and then I can put that up on my channel this week if anyone's interested in a sharp practice game. Pre-COVID. In fact, I think it was even before Christmas, from what I remember. But I think talking about board games, that was what we're really talking about. I like board games. I've always found it really hard, sort of, to keep different mates to play it with. It's like figure game all the time with, but board games, particularly if you get beyond the sort of more obvious things like Risk, which I love. I think it's just a fantastic game, so I'm not having a go at that because I really, really like it. But I know loads of friends, but they wouldn't go into something more complicated than that. So
No.
and so consequently, I find I gravitate towards tabletop games because I know, like on a Friday night, I can go down to the club and, well, when the world's normal, and play figure games, and I'll have a game and that'll be absolutely fine. And given a choice, I wouldn't crack open a board game instead of a figure game, if you see what I mean. But if it was an extra game, if someone came around and said, "Oh, we fancy a game or something," and I'd be quite happy to get a board game out and play it. Apart from that one you forced me to play on Tabletop Simulator. Friggin' awful.
Yeah, it can be hard finding the right people, especially at Blackstone Fortress. It was kind of like I was really wanting to finish it, wasn't I? And
we both were, weren't we?
Yeah, and
getting everyone together.
Yeah, we wanted the same 4 people to finish because it's a narrative that builds around the game.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of, when you start with a group, you kind of want to carry on, but then some people are more committed than others, some more. So what I should have maybe done is done an introduction game and seen how they liked it and carried on from there. But it's a bit of a commitment type game, and yeah, Gloomhaven's the next step up from that. So we've really got to find the right.
So if it's a narrative game, does that mean you can play it again? Or is that once you've done, it's sort of done?
So with Blackstone, you get a legacy part of the game. So the legacies carry on the narrative, so you'll unlock more sort of dangerous enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And also you're collecting resources to find this end dungeon, which then you've got a sealed card that you can't open until you've completed that mission.
Oh my god, we waited so long to open that fucking card.
Oh, it was great, yeah. And then, I ended up winning the last card as well, which I was real well chuffed with.
I'm not kidding. We waited, how long was it, Liam?
Yeah,
it must over a year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's over
a year?
No, it was 6 months, I think. It was the last, we had literally unlocked the last dungeon, and we just had a massive dry spell, didn't we, where nobody wanted to finish it, and I was just like, please, can we just finish it?
Jeez.
I need to justify buying Gloomhaven.
End's gonna kill me!
That's commitment, that is. But can you put it away between those? I mean, presumably you can't just leave it up for that length of time.
Yeah. So you just get a little Polly Pocket, which is the legacy sort of Polly Pocket. So next time you play, you just get that out, and you leave it in order, so you know what you unlocked when you unlocked it.
Right.
Character's got a little sleeve as well, which you store all their stuff in, called a status pod.
Mm-hmm.
And you just freeze the game at that point.
Yeah.
With other games like Gloomhaven, they've got a big campaign map, and you unlock stickers for which ones you've unlocked.
Right.
Mission 1, and then it branches to, you can either follow this lead or that lead, and there's 2 stickers on the board. The next time you come around, you just go, oh, let's play that one. So yeah, they're quite big. They're quite big game now, really. A lot of people getting into them more.
Looking at the size of it, I'm not surprised. Bloody hell. Oh, you mean as in game? Right. Okay.
As in, like, there's quite a few YouTubers that I watch. Shut Up and Sit Down. They review board games all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Get quite a lot of inspiration to get new board games with them. But they understand as well that thing of sitting down, someone's not. You can kind of, you want to carry on, but you don't want to make a bad time for someone else, especially if they're new to it.
No,
like that. Like the other night.
So a bit of an in-joke running here, guys, for the viewers here. They forced me to play. Actually, didn't force me to play. Again, I can't remember now. Talisman.
Talisman.
And we played it on simulator, and let's just say it wasn't my thing, really. It just, I wanted to like it. I really did. It was kind of clever, but it just did go on and on and on and on and on. Plus, the bastard didn't tell me the rules, which didn't help.
One rule. The one rule.
The one rule is like, oh, you're doing well. Look at all those things you've got. Oh, I'm going to take that one off you. Oh, and I'll take that one off you. Oh, Tom, you're not doing so well anymore. What went wrong? Because you didn't fucking tell me that. Yeah, that's why.
It was probably the least friendliest game I've ever had of Talisman.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many people knock each other off. Well, not in that way, but in the
Special
complete
viewing,
opposite.
that was.
But it was terrible. I was just like, nobody's playing fair at all. We can't actually progress the game.
No, unless someone plays fair. But Duncan FX has said here, Liam, have you tried Nemesis?
No, I do really want to try that. So in S game. So you're
that thing I want to play.
Yeah.
Oh, is it that? Yeah. It's on Simulator, Gamba. I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah, I know, but I think I do want to get that one in hard copy.
Of course you do.
That and Scythe as well is another one. I don't know if you've done. Scythe is like a post-apocalyptic steampunk world where you've got like the Russians, the Americans, the
Of course you got the
Europeans.
Russians. Is there anything ever not got the Russians in it with you?
They're all vying for resources, so that's pretty cool.
Well, I want to try that game that they've. It's about 40 foot in it. The board is huge. Something to do with that, the Africa campaign. It's on Tabletop Simulator.
Oh yeah.
It's going to take like
Rommel,
2 or 3.
Rommel in the desert, is it? Or
Yeah,
something
something like that. It takes like 2 or 3 years to actually complete it. To actually play it, to do the whole thing. You do the whole campaign, don't you?
Back in the day, there used to be one called The Longest Day, which was the entire on board game, and it literally covered. I can't remember how long. About 12-foot long boards, and about 4 foot deep, and it carried. You could either play just elements of it, like you could play the Pegasus Bridge or whatever, the raid on the whatever the point was called, or you could do Sword Beach, or you could do the entire campaign in one go. And like back in the day when I was a student, this thing quid, which was back in old money, that was a lot of money. And I probably can't get it anymore, but that was a classic game, absolute classic game. I only knew one person who had it, and we played a bit of it, but it was massive, so much fun.
That's another aspect of board games as well. Like, is obviously the most expensive one I've ever bought is Gloomhaven, which was 120.
Jeez.
But with that, I've got there's about 90 missions. Mm-hmm. They're roughly an hour each, so you're talking a lot of hours you've paid for there.
Yeah.
You've got a good investment, Whereas obviously with wargaming, there's another big shell out for the initial cost, isn't it? So maybe that puts some people off, So maybe just showing a board game off might get them into a bit more of the rolling the dice.
Yeah, kill teams, isn't it? It's small.
Yeah.
That's why skirmish games are so massive, aren't they?
Well, I think that's exactly it. I mean, that's why there's been such a trend toward games. It's easy, to Leslie's point, entry, easy entry into the games from who are used to doing Games Workshop type stuff. It's you look at it and think, oh, okay, to buy a game where I can have enough figures to play a game, the rule book for 30 quid or something to get on with, or 50 quid or something to go on with. It's sort of affordable, and you think, oh, that's easy enough. And the complexity of them is definitely downplayed, much to the chagrin of many people. Yeah. Want to have real historical fantasy, really complicated rules. But the bonus of that is it's very easy to pick up, quicker to play, and it's not that expensive to play, really, especially with plastic figures. But I guess it's the same in board games, right? There's expensive ones and cheap ones, and some. I guess if you're getting 90 hours play out of it for 100 quid, I mean, what is? I don't think you get anywhere near that kind of amount of play for probably a lot more, or similar amount anyway. So it's interesting. But how do you split your time though? Because you like figure gaming, you like board gaming. What the hell do you have time?
It's
to
hard
all this?
It is hard when you got Ken breathing down your neck to paint minis. I just want to play a 90-hour game, but it can be tricky sometimes. But yeah,
he plays D&D, don't you?
Yeah.
And you play fucking D&D, jeez.
I know. I do split my time quite a bit.
Oh my god, you're such a... I don't know.
That's another one as well. D&D is just smashed. Like, there's people playing it. I play with my next door neighbours. One of them plays computer games, but the other one's, very casual. Play some sort of basic computer games, but very surprised when they decided they wanted to play D&D. But they're really into it now,
That seems to me to have a massive resurgence. I don't know whether it's just me paying more attention. So much more D&D stuff now than I ever used to, which is really funny.
It's got a very easy access edition. 5th Ed is probably one of the best editions I've ever played because it's easy to access, but it also still has the real big role-play elements left in it. The last edition was very combat-based, so it did tend to be just we go in there and slay everything. Whereas this one there's a good balance between that and the role play aspect of things.
Right.
And it's very easy to pick up this time.
Because I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but many moons ago when I was starting out as a kid at school, playing toy soldiers and whatnot, I did play a fair bit of D&D, and I think I had the old rule books, and they were good fun, but it was so reliant on somebody spending an awful lot of time to set it all up and GM it and what have you, and it was like, and then, you know, if your buddy who enjoyed doing that, you kind of found girls or something and didn't want to do it, then you were fucked. You couldn't.
You buggered.
It was that was that, and it sort of. So I remember thinking, oh right, okay, well that sort of screwed that, because I wasn't actually great at doing that. I quite enjoyed doing it from time to time, but I wasn't brilliant at it. But some people just have a real knack doing the GM bit, and so I just never really did. So, but I always assumed it had just sort of died out because it was very much a 70s.
Yeah, and it did for a long time.
Yeah. Interesting.
But surprised how many people play it now. It's quite cool. It's nice because, you know, I used to struggle to find groups, and to be fair, I didn't play it for a long period of time. Actually, probably about 10 years. And it wasn't until recently that, you know, they kind of mentioned it to me, but I said, and then suddenly loads of people were just talking to me about it, and I was just like, oh, okay, so, you know, I'll be DM if you haven't got experience, so I'll sort of take that on. You know, some of them actually wanted to be DM straight away, which was quite nice because I get to be both. So we're just running loads of separate little stories.
Because back in the day, there used to be things, I don't even know if it still exists. It was called Traveller, which was a sort of space version of it. I don't know whether that's still around. I think it was called Traveller.
Yeah, Pathfinder, which is D, has something called Starfinder, which is basically that. And there are rule sets for the D&D sort of rules to port over to that sort of setting.
Right.
Which is quite cool. Pretty much any setting you want, in fact.
But
there's one for Greek gods mythology sort of area,
nice,
which
that sounds fun.
Has got a bit of mythic sort of stuff to it, but it's fairly grounded.
So how does it work though with the figures? Because I see beautiful figures, and there's a lot of Kickstarters of figures for D&D, and a lot of 3D printing of 3D printing of D&D stuff. That's hard to say. But do you actually? Back when my sole experience of D&D, apart from computer game versions of it, was literally someone had graph paper and they drew out a dungeon. And then when you were doing your one, you followed it with a piece of graph paper, and there's no real models involved. Or maybe you just had one just to simulate your figure, your character. But it seems like now they actually play proper games, like it would around buildings, and it's like there's that one with is it Frostgrave with the
Magic Graph?
Actually sort of proper, almost like a war game, but an RPG version of it. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can still play the old school one of just explaining things to people, not having any miniatures at all. But we tend to do a part thing. So if we haven't got buildings for something or something to represent it, we'll just speak through it. This is the area you're in. What do you want to do? But yeah, there are so many options now. Kickstarter, I've just signed up to one to get 200 minis.
200
for 50 quid. Yeah, they smashed. So yeah, they're making a lot of minis. About 200 minis, I think, getting it, which involves sort of load. The good thing about it I liked was you don't just get one guy, so you can actually have an encounter. Whereas a lot of the stuff from WizKids, which is the D&D official, you only get two, and it's like that's not enough, for an encounter, and that's two for like £10 sometimes. So it's not. And then they've got random blister packs as well, which are pre-painted minis. Which, they're good, but then you don't know what you're going to get. So, if you're planning something specific, you can't plan for that, which isn't good. But now with 3D printing coming out and Kickstarter, you can get loads of really cool stuff.
Interesting.
So it's definitely evolved a lot more now.
Leslie reckons
More
you're bored,
options.
Ken, so we better move on to something else.
I forgot. To be honest, I completely forgot. I was just in a little world. I'm trying to do this
You
bloody thing.
want to try D&D though, didn't you? You said you wanted to try D&D at some point.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do want to give it a go because I like using my imagination to recreate stuff. That's why I like fantasy. I think using my imagination. It's one of my favourite things to do. To be honest with you, that's why I like wargaming so much. Like imagining the battle and stuff, and that's why I like listening to audiobooks because I can just picture it in my head. I know a lot of people can do that while they're reading, but I can't do it while I'm reading because I'm dyslexic. So it's I can't get the flow of reading a book as other people can. Like my missus can just read it and it will just flow, and she can. I have to read it twice sometimes to read it properly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I can read it, but then I might not get the whole sentence in that one go, and there might be a word missing. So then I read it again and then get it, and I'm like, fuck's sake. So it's not how you read a book. So that's why I play audio books.
No, I get that. My oldest daughter's dyslexic, so yeah, it's tough. All these things are very difficult. Audibles do a lot because they're just. I must admit, I'm not dyslexic, but I love listening to audibles, and I've got one at the moment which I'm listening to. It's just absolutely loving it. I can't stop listening to it.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like all the time on our hobby, and the problem is I hobby too much, so I backed off a little bit. Because when you listen to when you listen to a 16-hour audio book in 2 days, and you're like, shit, I've been probably doing this a bit too long, and I'm going to get shouted at.
Do you know the one problem with audibles that I think I've discovered last night again was I went to bed last night listening to an audible book, which is never a good thing to do because you fall asleep and then you realise you've missed about 16 chapters and you no idea what point you got to before you fell asleep. It's like, oh bloody! I woke 2 o'clock. And I thought, oh shit.
I know. I always, to be honest with you, if I can't sleep, I put it in because I fall asleep to it for some reason. It's weird. But I'll tell you something, get shouted at.
Oh, had to bring that in.
No. Shame.
Oh dear. Well, let's get back to figures then. So, Leon's show. I was watching our old co-host Leon doing a video the other day where he got some new 15mm figures that he was going to do a Napoleonic 15mm project, and I very nearly went and bought some myself, and I just thought, no, stop it. You've got far too many. I've got so many up in the loft to bring down and rebase and redo that. But any new projects on the? Come on, what are you planning? You start, Ken, because otherwise you'll check your emails again.
I wasn't actually. I was on Facebook and I was looking on the board game exchange to see if I could find that board game for the longest day.
Oh, cool!
I just looked it up. I looked it up. Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Is it on Tabletop Simulator?
No, I've checked. It's not. But no, two projects. One that's a secret, which no one will know about. I've actually Liam knows about it, but that's it. So,
the board.
Obviously, yeah.
The board knows about it.
Yeah, the board knows about it. Yeah, as well. God. I just got that reference. I thought you meant the board, and the board is in chairman, CEO Liam, the hidden, the silent partner.
Silent partner.
Yeah. But no, the ACW 6mm. I'm waiting for Backer 6mm to open up to buy ACW American Civil War in 6mm, the Confederate and the Union Army.
Yep.
I think that's going to be my next project.
That's a good option. I think it'll be good in 6mm as well.
Yeah, because you've got loads of units. Guess what you're playing, Liam?
Yeah, I don't remember this passing the board meeting. Board.
I would
no, it wasn't.
Take it to the board and have a proper formal review of this decision, Liam, if I was you.
We can't. The CAF's closed at the minute, isn't it? It's
lockdown. Yeah, me up.
Jeez. That sounds like fun. I must admit, CW would be quite a good period to do.
Yeah,
that'd be quite fun.
Paint loads of true. The way I thought about it is, it's not going to take long to paint. It's not going to take long to base, and both armies together and the rules, 95 quid.
Is this like a starter set, is it, or is it?
No, it's the whole thing. It's like a whole Eastern. It's the whole Union Eastern Army and the Confederate Army that they fought.
Oh yeah, of course. We're talking. What sort of scale is this? Sorry,
6 mil.
6. Oh god, 6 mil.
You love the 6 mil model, Liam.
Yeah.
Especially the space.
Oh, here we go. He hasn't mentioned this for a while. So far we had dwarves. We've had the other one he hasn't mentioned yet. It's contrast paints, but you know he's on to his 6 mil Space Marines again.
Hello,
yeah, slipped a few little contrast bits in there, Dom, just to sort of see if you'd take the bait.
I did actually. I set them up and he didn't go for it. I'm pleased you paid attention. I think because he's on meltdown over there.
Miniature Wargaming Warriors, the home of historical contrast painting.
Aye. Yeah, no. Well, Leslie says blocks of wood. I don't. I think some of the 6 mil is really nice 6 mil. Back in the day, again, there were some really poor ones, but now I think there's some really nice. Some of them are. You can get a fair amount of detail on something so tiny. It's amazing.
It's not so much the detail; it's just being able to play a massive army in a smaller scale because I can control more units. That's why I like it.
Well, we used to play. We used to play ACW 15 mils, and that was good.
Yeah, but
actually 6 mils better.
Cages paint, didn't they?
I think I bought most of them painted online and then just tarted them up a bit, to be absolutely honest. But yeah, I mean, in theory, yes, they should. But yeah, you're right.
That's what I mean. That's the whole point of the 6 mil, is it's just quick to paint,
nice and easy. Yeah.
Something I haven't got to use a lot of brain power for, you know.
No, I got you. I understand that. On point saying he's doing some 15 mil airborne for Command and Conquer. That's good. Yeah, 15 mil. Hang on, you're not doing German again. What the hell? Leslie's doing Portuguese 28 mil for sharp practice. I've got a load of. I nearly got some out today to start making up because I've got a load of sprues of Portuguese infantry. I must get them out and start them. But I thought, no, I'm going to be disciplined.
What happened? You got, Dom?
Good question. Good question.
It's a treasure trove.
It is a treasure trove. and as Lizzie says, ships. Yes, I have to finish off the last couple of ships. You're quite right. But yeah, I mean, Ken, you must be well advanced with your ships by now.
Oh yeah, so he has got miniatures.
Yeah, quite
they're
right.
Not miniatures. They're the devil in Reincarnate.
Brilliant. Liam, what are you working on then? What are you looking to do?
So these tanks are I keep saying it. They're going to be the last of the Soviets. Yeah, I know. I may end up getting maybe an SU for them later on, but for now, that's it, done. And then I'm going to probably get the 8th Army or a British Expeditionary Force, and then I might think about Hail Caesar.
Nice.
Which probably will be a couple of months away, but I really want that Roman starter set.
Really want that Roman starter set. Yeah.
So you going Roman? Oh, you disappoint me, Liam. You disappoint me.
Oh, don't start. He was
guys.
Roman. He was, yeah. I'm going to go Greeks if I'm going to play.
Yeah, good thinking.
Yeah.
Well done.
Greeks, yeah.
Spartans would be my second.
Oh, nah, not Spartans. It's more phalanxy. You know, I want my phalanxes.
I like
shove them in your face.
So there's two
Athenians.
races I don't know much. I don't like playing very much in wargaming, which anyone down at Farnborough will know. I won't play French. Not that I don't like the French. Sorry, Leslie. I know you're not French, but you're in France. So I love the French. They're great in their own country, but they're fantastic. But I don't like playing their nation in any games. I don't know why. I never have done. And Romans, same. Absolutely love what the Romans do. I'm fascinated by their history, but I'm really not into Roman in wargaming. Don't know why. Never have been.
Well, I hope they play as I want them to play, which the machine of just shield, stab, move forward.
Compared to SPQR.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. Just spoil everything that game. I was just like, oh, that's not how they should play. Doesn't make sense.
Salt was fucking real that game. How can this was Liam, how can naked Celts go up against Romans and still get 160 dice? What's going on?
It's just weird, wasn't it? You just had to get more dice, you know. I thought there'd be some mechanic in there to say, you know, you've got less dice, but you are more skillful with them dice, but there's not, you know. Weird.
No.
Apparently that's fine. You get more.
You smack your willy around the heads, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I won't go on to whole SPQR. That was just diabolical raw system. But that was the one good thing about it, was how easy it was to kill the Romans. That was nice. But it's weird. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Do you have that kind of thing about different nations? I say the Romans. It's like I really like Romano Brits. That whole period of history, I love playing, and I like the Byzantines. That's fine. But the Roman does not excite me in the slightest, and I don't know why, because I love the history of Rome. You know, I think I love being to Rome a few times, and I love seeing Roman sites.
Even if it was the late period when they started, like, you know, being on the back foot, and they weren't the scary ones. You know?
A little bit in there. I like those. Quite like the later period cavalry-heavy armies. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But that's sort of heading into the Byzantine period more than anything else. Maybe that's why I like that. Yeah. But I don't know why.
A struggling period.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
You don't like to be the people who are gonna win, the underdogs. You want to be the.
But then I like the British, so you know. In the Napoleonics, I love them, and they win. So it's...
Yeah, I don't like in the Crusades the actual Crusading Knights. I just don't like that period in general. I don't think for wargaming. You know, like Lee loves it, don't you? You love the Templars and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them Templar models that I think you painted them, and I was like, oh, I definitely do that.
It's not my cup of tea. I think they're a bit, I don't know, just a bit boring.
Is it because it's boring? Just you don't like that whole period of, you know? I don't know. I'm intrigued.
I don't know. It's just I think I find it a bit boring, to be honest. The biblical period, Jerusalem and all that, just fighting over a city. All right, okay.
There's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. Yeah. See you, Leslie. Have a good night, mate. I'm just reading this at the moment, which is the Hospitallers' history, which is fascinating. Really, really interesting. You know, I did not know this. Little known fact: Hospitaller, the 3 original military orders came out of Jerusalem. They're still in existence today. Do you know where?
The Masons, are they? Freemasons.
No. Yeah. St. John's Ambulance. St. John's
Ambulance.
Yeah.
Of course, they got the cross, didn't they?
You said the cross. Yeah. St. John's Ambulance. There's another couple of groups elsewhere, but yeah. That's right. That's how they
go and join St. John's, mate. You'll be happy. You'll be a Knights Templar.
Gonna wear that cross. That Templar.
Do you know? I think. I don't know that whole period. Do you know? I'm amazed by that, Ken, because I just think that whole period. I'm going to have to find you some interesting books to listen on Audible on that, because fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Do you know
there's a lot of secrecy, wasn't there, around that time? Like a lot of things, people trying to grab power grabs and.
Well, just you think the whole scale of that thing. So there is Western governments, inverted commas, monarchies, decide they're going to go thousands of miles away from their lands into completely unknown territory in a completely different environment to what they're used to, any kind of proper communications or anything else, and they carve out a huge empire, country, around Jerusalem and all the associated territories. It went a long way down the coast. It went a long way down to where, you know, Israel is now and what have you. I mean, quite a sizable territory for, you know, decades under constant attack by the Saracens, by the different Muslim forces in the area, and they were all fighting each other as well. So there was the politics between, what Saladin, Saracen leader, he managed to unite all these different Muslim states to take on the Crusaders. But up to then, they were all fighting each other as much as they were the Crusaders. And so at the same time, you got new reinforcements of Crusaders coming out on this holy, missiles. And, eventually, of course, they lose everything. But I think it's absolutely fascinating. As you say, Liam, there's the political, the espionage, you've got assassins, you've got all kinds of stuff going on. It's amazing period.
Blue on blue, like you say, in there as well as the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a classic guy, Prince of Antioch, which was one of the main sort of city-states, if you like, of that territory. And, to preserve himself, he actually let Muslim army through his territory to attack another area of the Christian state. It's just extraordinary stories. But I think that whole period is fascinating to me. The military side is actually the least interesting in many ways because it's fairly boring actually. But the political and the historical side of it, I find fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But anyway, sorry.
And they have got some beautiful armour as well.
Oh yeah,
definitely for a painting project, I definitely would do that. I think.
I agree. I think it's really interesting. But it's
oh Christ! I didn't even notice the time was.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock, mate. You're going to be in trouble again.
Yeah.
That's the only rules he has in his house.
Yeah.
We'll have to wrap it up.
We will have to wrap it up. Okay, shall I wrap up then?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, time to track on. I noticed the viewer numbers are dropping, so it obviously was the right time to have wrapped up. So thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate you joining us. We'll be back. All things. Oh yeah, let's have a look. There's the T-34. Looking good.
It is built, and I've done it with the old square. Is it a fuel tank on the back? Oh no, stowage. Isn't it?
I think there's stowage.
They're fuel tanks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are they fuel?
You can have the tankers on there.
Okay.
I'll pay you Godfrey. He's done.
41 roughly.
Godfrey.
It's a 41 model.
Nice.
Stalingrad. Cast turret, which was apparently, but they were very weak, so they went with the welds afterwards.
There we go.
Yeah.
Informative as well as
what I learned from
all sorts of stuff. Brilliant. And you've done Godfrey. Very nice. I've done about half of my Carasius. Oh, nice. Nice job. I'm not going to pick mine up because they'll fall apart and then I'll be really annoyed. And I'll drop them on the floor again and that'll be really... But thanks for watching. We'll be back, hopefully, if the world doesn't next Monday. Same time, same place. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Yeah, guys.
Cheers.
Oh my fucking days, it's boiling with that light on.